Hey up YouTube, recording another Bitesize today, and today what we're going to be talking about, well, to be honest, I don't really know, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to go outside, I'm going to record some footage, we're going to do jobs for January, so we're going to clean the greenhouse up, get that ready for planting into, and then we're going to discuss some other jobs for January as well, so I'll see you in a bit. Hey up YouTube. So, as we discussed in the intro, I'm doing a few different things this year. So, what we're going to talk about on this week's Bite Size is jobs for January, how to scratch that itch as a grower. I know we're all chomping at the bit to get planting. So, what we're going to talk about, well, first of all, we're just going to quickly run over the jobs that you can do, that you can still be doing in January. Your maintenance jobs, these to me, especially in January, are more important. So you just see me cleaning out my greenhouse there. All I do that with is a little bit of Jay's fluid in a large bucket of warm water. Give it all a wash down. I actually use a car cleaning mitt. Give my floor a scrub with a brush, and the remaining water once I've done the glass. The only purpose behind this really, obviously cleaning your glass means that more light can get to your plants. It means using the Jay's fluid, it means that you're getting rid of any fungal, bacterial, any insect larvae, things like that might be in any nooks and crannies in your greenhouse. It also means that you are disinfecting, making it smell nice. If you like the smell of Jay's, it gets rid of any of the nasty smells anyway. And also, if you had any diseases last year, it will help reduce the spread of those. Other things you can be doing in January, you can be sharpening all your tools, so your secateurs, things like that. If you've already pruned your winter fruit trees, like your pears and your apples, you can be sharpening your spades, your hoes, all things like that. Get yourself a tool file, give them all a sharpen. I will be doing mine probably in Sunday's video, to be honest. I need to do my spades and my hoes. Well, my hoes aren't too bad, but I'll at least be taking the Jay's fluid down there. I'll be giving my tools a wash, giving them a sharpen. Trust me, it sounds silly, but it makes a world of difference. Keeping your spades and your hoes nice and sharp means an absolute world of difference for your weeding and your digging. But let's get on to the bit that I know a lot of growers are going to be keen, especially sort of you first time growers are going to be keen to know what we can be planting this time of year. Now, in the first portion of my video, and in a video that was released a couple of weeks ago, I'll try and put a link up there, I did my chili seeds, or my second sowing of chili seeds in fact. My first sowing went in really early. They're doing fine, they're getting a bit leggy. That's not beyond what I expect. I shall, when it comes to potting them up, I shall plant them right up to the seed leaves. Chili seeds, chili plants, tomato plants, things like that. I'm more than happy to do that. So don't worry too much. If you've planted some early and they're getting a bit leggy, just make sure there's plenty of light. As I said, there's a video that I released a couple of weeks ago where I talk about my setup. I'll put a card in. In that description is links to all the gear I use. It's all inexpensive gear. I think my entire setup from start to finish at most cost £100. I think you could probably get away with about £60 depending on whether you put your tent next to a radiator or not. I don't, so I spent an extra £20 on a heating mat. So you can if you've got the right tools and equipment, do things like chili seeds now. If you really wanted to, you could do your tomato plants now. I would strongly suggest, even if you've got the right setup for that, I would strongly suggest you don't do tomato seeds now. It's far too early. You know, you've got to keep these things alive until it's time for them to go out. So don't do your tomato seeds now. Do not jump the gun there. You know, the earliest really I will be doing my tomato seeds will be March time. You need the sun to be up for 10-12 hours a day. You know, you can germinate them inside, but you need 10-12 hours of good quality sunshine for the seedlings once they're grown. So don't do your tomatoes now. In Sunday's video, my broad beans, they're happy as Larry. They're on the windowsill. There's about half of them have come up already. If you follow me on Facebook, I do post updates there. So broad beans, if you didn't plant them direct, you could be planting them in your seed modules now. They will be quite happy once germinated. They'll be quite happy sat in the greenhouse. And what that'll do is it'll slow them down a little bit because it's a bit cooler. That way, when it comes to, let's say, March, April time, when we can plant them out, they'll be a good, strong, well-established plant. Other things you can be getting on with right now at this time of year, you can be still planting fruit trees and bushes. You'll find a lot of your garden centres now, especially your big ones like your B&Qs and your home bases, are flogging them off cheap. Grab yourself a bargain, it's not too late to be putting them in. Remember, in year one, don't prune, put them in, let them establish. If you can fight the urge, your best practice is to take off any of the flowers in year one. Let the plant focus on establishing in your ground. If you've got established plants, you can be doing the pruning. Check out last week's Bitesize, or the week before's Bitesize, sorry, I didn't do one for Christmas. Once again, I'll try and stick a card in where we talk all about pruning winter, more apple trees than anything else, but we talk quite extensively actually for a Bitesize about doing your apple, pear and so forth winter pruning trees. You can be splitting your rhubarb crowns now, which also, coincidentally, if you're wanting to move fruit trees, fruit bushes, rhubarb crowns, now is a good time to be doing it. Personally, I would have done it in November, December time, but you can still be doing it now. So don't worry too much, you can be doing that now. If you've got something you want to move, you want to get it done as soon as you can. You can still, perhaps not this year in the UK, but you can still be digging your allotment if you need to. So you can be doing your double digging, laying in your manure, things like that. Please remember, if you're using manure this time of year, that it must be well rotted. We've only got 3 or 4 months before you're going to be starting to put things in the ground. You don't want that manure to still be fresh. You will scorch the roots of your plant. Which, if you're digging and you're putting your manure in, fine. Also, same for your no diggers. You can still be composting the manure in your beds now, so your sort of lasagna technique, so your cardboard, your compost, your cardboard, your compost, or manure, or whatever it is you're using. Also, like I said, please remember, you need to be using well rotted manure. You can, if you want to, you could be ordering and buying your seed potatoes now, put them in a cool, dry windowsill, and they will sit there quite happily chitting. That is something that a lot of new growers may or may not have seen. You'll start to see a lot of YouTubers producing videos on chitting potatoes. I'm not going to lie, I'll be one of them. But in short, all it is putting your potatoes in an egg box. There is a right way and a wrong way to do it, but I'll go over it in more depth later. But putting them in an egg box, leaving them in a cool, and it is important that it's cool, dry windowsill. And what they'll do is they'll start sprouting. That's all that chitting means, is that that the plant will start sprouting. And you want your chits to remain short, compact. You don't want the big things like you've left a potato down the back of a cupboard for 2 months and it's grown the big white spindly fingers. That's not what you want. That's not a good chit. Other jobs to be done now, as I think I've already mentioned. You need to be sharpening your tools, so your spades, your secateurs, your hoes, things like that. Get yourself a tool file, give them all a sharpen. It sounds silly, it does sound silly to clean and sharpen your tools every year. It makes a hell of a difference. A sharp spade, obviously sharp secateurs, but a sharp spade and a sharp hoe will make your digging and your weeding life so much easier. For example, if we're going to end up with a bit of stormy weather like we did last year, please remember to check all your wire ties, check your polytunnels are well fastened down, check your greenhouses are well all your glass is well fixed and things like that, and that your sheds are battened down. Batten down the hatches in case we get a storm like we have the last couple of years. Check all your wire ties, things like that. Any sort of thing that's raised up, make sure it's all nice and strong. So with that, folks, I hope you have had a happy new year. I hope you've had a great Christmas. I hope 2020 brings you everything you want. So for now, I'll see you later.